Hello everyone, welcome to my Week 9 game for XPDLA. This is the one I've been putting off forever, and in the meantime I got a new computer, so that's... While I was waiting, I completely upgraded my setup, so all my sets are on my old laptop, which is I put away in a corner, off into the distance, because odds are I'm not going to need it as much. And it does have all of my old sets and stuff on it, so... But this is like the only battle besides my playoff game I need to catch up on. So there's that. So yeah, going into this game, I really don't have too much at stake, but I do like going into playoffs on a win streak, and I do want to have a decently high seed. Like I don't want to be in like the bottom like 4, because I don't know. It's just a principle thing. So I'm playing to I'm playing to for pride basically. You know, I'm already locked for playoffs, but I wanna go in guns blazing, you know. Going in on a hot streak of 3 wins in a row it's just better than not, you know what I mean? So going into this game, my opponent had a very, very obese team, and I completely forgot like all of the sets except for the essential ones for this game. Well, no, actually, I remember a few of them. So let's go right into it. My opponent's team is Clefable, Blacephalon, Registeel, Roserade, Ditto, Audino, Mega Slowbro, Dracovish, Tornadus, Vikavolt, and Sandslash. And he left on the bench his Clef, his Audino, his Vikavolt, and his Tornadus, and his Roserade. I was really, really confused as to why he didn't bring Clef, but you know that was perfectly okay with me. It made this game not 100 turns. It made it a lot. It made it a fewer. This is a long game, in case you couldn't tell by me saying it 30 times. So, getting right into the sets. If I do remember correctly, this is a stealth rocking. Yeah, I think the Mawile has Stealth Rock. And then it had like Brick Break, Play Rough, and Iron Head. I think it might have been SD. No, it was SD, I think. SD, and I think it had Sucker Punch, Play Rough, and Brick Break. Brick Break was pretty much there just for the Registeel, obviously. That's his best Play Rough switch-in. And it is a pretty good Play Rough switch-in. It's also there, it hits the Audino if I don't want to have to click Play Rough versus that. Obviously, Roserade resists everything, but I mean, it's a Roserade. It's not known for being physically defensive. And then Sucker Punch would probably take that thing out unboosted. I'm pretty sure it was Swords Dance. I know the Mew didn't have Stealth Rocks. Maybe I just didn't bring rocks to this game. Which, yeah. I mean, there really wasn't anything I needed rocks for. I didn't expect to see Vikavolt, because I didn't think webs were that great versus me, but I did bring Defog on my Torn just in case. And then, I thought the Blacephalon would be like Boots, Calm Mind if it came, or it would be Choice Scarf, in which case he'd probably keep it in the back for a while, so, yeah. Tornadus is Hurricane, Defog, it's a really fat Tornadus. Hurricane, Defog, Taunt, and U-Turn. He doesn't really have a good flying resist outside of Registeel on his team, like if you just look through everything. And if you remember what I said, his only flying resist is Registeel actually, so... this mon actually goes pretty crazy. I could have brought a nasty plot set, but I just kind of wanted to bring removal, and I didn't want to run it on Drampa or Mew. I probably could have put Defog on Drampa, but I couldn't really fit it. So I decided to run it on Torn. Just bring the fat Torn. Especially because Drampa doesn't get taunt. So there's that. The Vaporeon I actually have sent... I think I have the set somewhere. Give me one moment. Yeah, the Vaporeon is a very weird combination of moves. Obviously, it's designed to pivot into the thingy, the Dracovish, because that one is stupid as shit. It's max HP, it's max Phys Def, Reflect, Haze, Surf, and Toxic, so it's designed to help me deal with Dracovish in a decent amount of ways. I doubt he brings Choice Band. I think Choice Scarf is probably the best set versus my team. Or not Choice Band, Sub. Because, like, a lot of my team can outspeed and just break the Sub anyway. My team's relatively fast and offensive, so I highly doubt that that's the set that comes. I'm expecting either Scarf or Band. Maybe like a fucking Assault Vest, I don't know. Something along... Actually, Assault Vest would be a decent bring, because that pivots into Torn and Mew, so... Yeah, something along those lines. So yeah, the Vaporeon is designed to help me not immediately die, depending on what I send out, so that's nice. Reflect is there, obviously, for that, and then Haze and Toxic and Surf. Surf I have over Skull because it's a guaranteed Oko on stuff like Sandslash, unless he's like Assault Vest or something, which I don't think is a thing. It just does more damage. It helps me with sub. Like, if it's +1... I think what I was going for was if it's a +1 Blacephalon, like if he's Calm Mind. I think Surf breaks the sub guaranteed, whereas Scald's a roll, if I remember correctly. So there's that. The Obstagoon is just the Obstagoon set I've been bringing pretty much the whole season, just without Protect or Obstruct or whatever. I think I only brought Obstagoon like 2 other times, and it's been parting shot 3 attacks both times with the Flame Orb. Facade, Low Kick, and Knockoff, I do believe, are the moves. Mew is Calm Mind, Mono Psychic, because he doesn't have a Dark type, right? Yeah, he doesn't have a Dark type, so... Yeah, Taunt, CM, Soft Boiled, Taunt, CM, Soft Boiled, Size Shock, I think I went with, just in case it's Calm Mind Clef, or Calm Mind Slowbro. And then finally we have a Drampa. This set is very strange. Well, not really. I think it was Boots on this and the Torn. And then it was Dragon Pulse, I do believe Roar, Flamethrower, yeah, it had Flamethrower, Dragon Pulse, Flamethrower, Roar, and Roost. It was pretty bulky. It was pretty much designed to switch into and pivot into the Blacephalon here. And originally I had Hyper Voice just in case Clef came, but I figured Roar was enough prep for that, and I have Taunt on 2 other members. I really don't need to stack things to damage Clef. Flamethrower was much more valuable for Registeel, because Registeel's starting to look like a problem, so if I get enough chip on that, then there you go. It also hits the Roserade harder than Hyper Voice did, so there's that. So I'm going to lead off with Torn. I figure it has the best matchup against pretty much everything. I think he might try to lead with Ditto to get some initiative, so I'm just going to lead with Tornadus. That is my thought process, as he actually leads with his Dracovish. So he types in the chat on turn 1 that he forgot to EV it correctly, and so that makes me pretty much confirm that it's Scarf, and the fact that this Vicious Wren he goes for Psychic Fangs, and it doesn't do over half, pretty much confirms it. Dracovish is really strong with Strong Jaw and stuff. He goes for Psychic Fangs, I'm assuming predicting my Vaporeon to come in there as an interim check. So that was a smart play on his part, but I could take a Scarfishous Wren with this thing. That's exactly why I stayed in. So I'm going to go ahead and U-turn out as I get the Hurricane damage off. I just really wanted chip on the Dracovish so it can't really switch into anything later on. So it can't pivot into, like, Facade from Obstagoon. Like, if it comes in on Obstagoon, it doesn't take a Facade. I can no longer take a Dragon Pulse from Drampa, a +1 Psy Shock from Mew, Brick Break from Mawile if I get up an SD, stuff like that. So he's going to go Registeel. I'm just going to U-turn out. I'm going to bring in, I believe, Mew here? Yes. So I'm going to just go ahead and taunt this, fully expecting this to either set up Rocks or go for Toxic, and he does indeed go for a Toxic. So Blacephalon's going to come out as a pivot as I set up a Calm Mind, and the fact that he went hard Blacephalon makes me think he's either Specs, and he's going to go for Shadow Ball here. Oh yeah, my Mew is also Cassette Berry for this thing as well. Forgot to mention that in the builder section. Team overview, whatever it's called. So, whatever I want to call it. He goes into Blacephalon, and I only assume that's because it's either Specs and it's going to hit me with Shadow Ball for really good damage. So Obstagoon's pretty free, or he's Trick Scarf. So I'm just going to go into Obstagoon because it's the thing that doesn't mind the Scarf the least. You know what I mean. It doesn't mind having a Scarf on it. And he's gonna go for Trick, and I'm going to catch the thing there. So he's going to go ahead and... So I've burned the Trick on the Blacephalon. It's no longer an offensive check to my Torn. If he doesn't have the proper speed, it doesn't check my Mew anymore, but there's no way he's not going to. Pretty much Torn outspeeds it, and Hurricane is pretty much going to kill it after Rocks. So, I don't have Rocks. No, I don't have Rocks in my Mawile. I do remember now. So I'm going to Parting Shot the incoming Ditto, and this is pretty much a free switch into my Mawile. I decide to not Mega Evolve, just in case I need the Intimidate later on, and I'm going to predict the Registeel to come in. I'm going to go for Brick Break, as he actually Parting Shots himself, and he brings in his Slowbro, which was definitely a good mid-ground there. So, gonna Brick Break that, and then I'm gonna I'm gonna go Hard Vaporeon on an expected Scald, as he tries to T-Wave my Mawile, and that could have been pretty bad, because then I would definitely be slower than Sandslash. So he's gonna go into Ditto. I'm gonna click Toxic, because nothing really on his team switches into Toxic, except for Registeel, which I did not expect to come in to try and eat a Scald Burn, because that would be really bad for him, as I poison the Ditto. That's very nice for me. Now he sets up a Reflect, as I try to set up a Reflect, so God hates me, and I get fully parried. He's going to go into his Sandslash. I'm going to try and get up a Reflect again. I'm trying to just burn Ferns on the Reflect he just set up. So yeah, there's that. And trying to stall out the Ditto a little bit because he can no longer Toxic me. As he goes into Sandslash, like I said, I can pretty much kill this thing guaranteed as he knocks off my leftovers, which kind of sucks because this thing's no longer like a sturdy, all of its recovery's gone, so what you lose is what you lose on the Mawile, or on the Vaporeon at this point. But I'm going to knock off the Sandslash, which is really good for Mawile in case the thing was offensive. From the knockoff damage, it looked pretty offensive, so yeah. It's also pretty good for Drampa, and yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and try and chip... No, I'm not going to try and chip down the Registeel. I'm going to go on Obstagoon, as he sets up his Rocks, and that's kind of annoying, but I do have Boots on 2 members. reliable recovery on Mew. Mawile doesn't mind taking 6% occasionally. So here I'm going to go for Parting Shot because I did not know how this move worked. I didn't think Clear Body would stop me from switching. But that's okay because he ends up Toxicking me, so I end up getting Guts. So that kind of works out, I guess. And then now I'm going to go back into my Vaporeon, I believe. Yes, sir. Expecting another Toxic. But he goes for S-Toss, and that kind of sucks. So I'm just going to try and chip this thing down. Any damage is pretty much permanent on this Registeel, depending on what he is. So I'm going to just keep staying in. Just going to Surf twice, and then bring in my Mew here, as he goes for another S-Toss. And now I'm going to go ahead, and I do believe I'm going to Taunt, or I'm going to Soft Boil here. Yes, I Taunt, as he goes for another Toxic, expecting me to potentially heal. So taunting there is definitely the play, knowing that he's going to poison me. So he's going to go ahead and switch in his Ditto again, as I set up a CM. And then, or I'm going to Soft Boil, I'm going to heal off. And now I'm expecting him to taunt here, so I'm going to bring in my Obstagoon, which is exactly what he does. So he's going, and Obstagoon also just hard walls this set. So he's going to, I believe, bring in the Registeel as I go for Knockoff, which is definitely good for me. Getting rid of this thing's leftovers makes it 3 KO. As soon as he pulls out the... You'll see. So, I'm going to knock off again. I'm trying to kill this thing off. I really don't care if I lose my Obstagoon at this point. It's pretty much good for... Well, you just saw what he did. So, it's good for outrunning the Dracovish and the Blacephalon. And potentially Scarf Ditto, if he copies my Mew. But he pulls out the rest, and I'm going to kill myself. So, now I'm going to switch into my Mew, or my Drampa here, because it does damage. So, I'm going to go for Flamethrower, thinking it 3 KOs, but Registeel is stupid, and it doesn't. So... I'm going to go into Vaporeon, sack that off on what I expect to be a Toxic to come out here. And now I'm going to go into my Torn, and I'm going to reveal the Taunt as he tries to poison my Torn. And now I'm going to go for the Defog as he brings in his Ditto. So he gets to see my last move, but I mean, I revealed it anyway, so that's fine. He does not have a good Hurricane switch in, so I'm just going to click that, and the Ditto's going to go down to 7%. If I had Rocks on my Mawile, or my Mew, but I'm glad I didn't bring Rocks on either of them, because they were actually decent threats without them. This would be dead. I'm switching. Dracovish should be taking a bunch of damage. Blacephalon would be in range of Hurricane, but I didn't, so it's not. So he's going to go into Slowbro. Obviously, I'm going to taunt this. I really don't have a reason to not, as he reveals to be physical, which I thought was pretty strange, but I guess it could make sense. I don't know. So I'm going to go into Mew because I don't think this thing has too much for it. I'm going to set up a Calm Mind here as he decides to go for another Liquidation, trying to fish for defense drops. He's not going to end up getting them. And I'm going to taunt because nothing really wants to come in on the taunt. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to taunt because if he goes hard Dracovish, he's a fucking madman. If I click Psychic there, his Dracovish dies. So I taunt the Slowbro. Nothing really wants to come in on a taunt. I don't even think that the Cephalon does because he probably wants to get rid of the Flame Orb and get a burn on this or something. So I'm going to go ahead and Psychic it just to see the damage because he Mega'd the first turn, so he doesn't get the regen anymore, especially if he has Teleport. So he's going to Liquidate me. I'm going to not drop my defense yet, so I'm just going to set up a Soft Boil because he just keeps fishing for him. And I'm going to taunt again as he brings in the Blacephalon, which was definitely a good play on his part. But no, I Psychic. Why did I Psychic? I expected him to switch into the Blacephalon here to try and catch me on a taunt, so I go for Psychic. I expect him to spam Liquidation, so I just want to get some damage off. I don't expect him to try and slack off there. So my plan was to Psychic the Slowbro if it stayed in and then taunt it. Because, I've gone for taunt pretty much every time, so I'd expect him to try and just spam attacks. Or try and offensively check my Mew. So I'm going to go ahead and stay in here because I can take this Shadow Ball really easily, especially through the Cassib, but it wouldn't have even killed me without it, and I'm going to kill him. So definitely a nice little sequence there as he brings in the Ditto, which after taking... I forgot I got regenerated that one time, so never mind. So he's going to go into this. Obviously, I'm just going to go back into my Obstagoon because, yeah, it's just the best play as he taunts. I'm expecting the Registeel to come in here. So I'm just going to click Low Kick, but he stays in, pretty smart on his part, and he heals off his Ditto. So if I knocked off there, this Ditto would be dead. I don't think he switched up moves at any point up to now, so I didn't think he was... Yeah, I figured his switch was pretty obvious, but he is actually not Scarf. So he's going to go into Slowbro, I believe. Here's like, go my Torn? Yes. So I'm going to taunt again, because nothing... Again, he's definitely not going into Dracovish because a Hurricane into a U-turn kills that. I could have Hurricaned there, but I didn't want to get paralyzed. Didn't want to risk that. So he's going to go into Ditto as I quick Hurricane, I believe. Yes. And the Ditto is going to take poison. It's going to take Hurricane damage. I'm on 10%, and I'm going to kill it off with a U-turn because his HP stat is shit. So I believe, obviously, that was a speed tie. I think he was probably going for U-turn there, so he was going to get regen on his Ditto. That kind of sucks for him that he lost the speed tie. But I would definitely would have gotten switch initiative there, and I would assume he probably would just go into Registeel, which would make me go into my Mew again, or maybe into Obstagoon, go for a low kick, maybe knock off, try and catch something else on the switch. So yeah, overall, a sequence I think that pretty much was going to turn out into my favor most of the time. So now I'm going to go into Obstagoon because it outruns everything. He's going to go into his Registeel, and then go out into his Slowbro. I really should have seen this coming and either gone for a Parting Shot or a Facade here. Because Facade was still doing a chunk to Registeel. If I died to Seismic Toss, I died to Seismic Toss. It's no big deal, honestly. But he goes into this as I low kick, and I expect him to pivot back into the Registeel here, I think, and I go for another low kick, yeah. And I also just want to try and keep this thing low. Expecting him to... Well, I mean, the slack off was pretty obvious if he was staying in. But I wanted to keep this thing low, and I was trying to, like, force him out. I figured he'd go Registeel, predicting, like, my Torn to come in there. I don't know. But this could take a Hurricane anyway, so... Maybe a bit ambitious. Either way, probably not my best play, just clicking low kick again, as I lose my Obstagoon, which kind of sucks. It's pretty much my best revenge killer to the Dracovish. So I've lost my defensive check to it and my offensive check to it, now that I had a Scarf tricked onto it, but that's fine. I can take a Vicious Rend with Drampa. If he locks into a Dragon move, Mawile Revenge kills it, so I could definitely have counterplay to it. I'm going to taunt here with my Mew as he makes a good play and liquidates. Probably should have just soft-boiled immediately as he gets a defense drop. Finally, for him, I think this is, his 6th one clicked? Yeah. So he's going to liquidate again. It's going to do about a quarter of my health, so I'm just going to go into Drampa, see what Drampa can do here. See if I can get some good damage off onto this, especially because I don't mind Drampa being paralyzed. And I do a solid half to it as he misses a T-Wave, which again sucks for him because obviously Drampa outruns it. And yeah, I'm going to go for another Dragon Pulse, trying to kill the Slow King, or Slowbro. As he goes into his Registeel, clicks Rest, and I do believe I go for a Flamethrower. Yes, sir. And I'm going to do 30%. I'm going to click Flamethrower again as he makes a really solid play and goes into his Dracovish. But like I said before, I can live a Vicious Rend from here because he's Scarfed and not Banded. Even if he's Scarfed Adamant. If he locks into Outrage, Mawile basically collects a kill on the Dracovish. I'm pretty sure I had Sucker Punch. So I wouldn't even have to risk a Play Rough miss. And the Slowbro's at 48, so even if he has... Dragon Rush on this and not Outrage, something has to pretty much take a Play Rough because the Registeel hasn't slept at all. A Play Rough into a Brick Break should take that thing out from 70, or a Play Rough into 2 Brick Breaks, something like that. Play Rough should be 2-shotting the Slowbro, so he's actually going to lock himself in a Vicious Rend as a result, and I am obviously going to take that. That does so much damage, by the way, like, look at that, holy fuck. But I'm going to knock out the Dracovish here, which is pretty nice. Slowbro's going to hit the field. I'm just going to click Roost. I figured that that's probably better than clicking Dragon Pulse here. Although that would keep him low, he's out healing me, and I don't want to play like a crit battle with this thing, so I'm going to Dragon Pulse it again to try and keep it low, because I'm expecting a T-Wave here, and now I do believe I go into my Torn. No, I'm going to go for Dragon Pulse again, trying to keep him low, trying to see if I can win this battle, but because I'm paralyzed, I'm going to Dragon Pulse one more time, and I don't want to get fully parried and lose a turn of momentum, so I'm actually going to go out to Mew, because Mew at this point can set up Calm Minds pretty much for free, because I'm assuming his last move on this is either going to be Teleport or Psyshock, or Zen Headbutt, I mean. And I don't think Zen Headbutt's going to be, obviously going to make him beat my Mew. So once he runs out of liquidations, Mew pretty much beats this. He's down to 7. A crit won't kill me from here. If he gets defense drop, that's fine. Which he doesn't. It kind of sucks for him. But yeah, I'm just going to keep spamming Soft Boiled. And he's going to shake off a taunt. I'm going to taunt him again. And eventually we're going to reach a point to where I'm at a very, very, very high amount of boosts. He runs out of liquidations. I clicked taunt there because I'm retarded. And so, yeah, he's going to shake off the taunt, and then I'm going to taunt him again. A crit liquidation might have knocked me out there, but he only has 2 left. So, yeah, he tried to go for T-Wave as I taunted. I'm going to soft boiled here as he goes for liquidation. He gets the defense drop. Finally, I go for Psychic while I'm at +2. Liquidation again, and now he's out, and now he's going to reveal his last move. Eventually, he's going to go out in a Registeel here. I'm going to just set up to +6 against this. Taunt it as it wakes up. He doesn't have Sleep Talk, so I don't really have to worry. He tries to poison me, gonna set up to +6, like I said, and taunt this thing again. And now it's pretty much a game of outplaying Seismic Tosses, which is pretty easy because he can't crit me with anything. So yeah, he's gonna S-Toss again. I'm gonna soft-boiled it off. He's going to S-Toss again, and now I'm gonna just spam Psychic after I taunt this thing one more time. So he's gonna Seismic Toss. Now I'm gonna go for Psychic, I believe. No, I'm gonna soft-boiled again. Yeah, I'm trying to stay as high as possible, I guess, just in case the Slowbro has a hidden move I haven't seen yet, but I'm not really expecting that because he hasn't gone for anything So I'm gonna Psychic. It's gonna pretty much two-shot this thing after this turn. So he's gonna get taunted. I'm gonna Psychic again because I'm expecting him to toss again, expecting me to taunt because his rest is really obvious. So I'm gonna Psychic for the damage as he S-tosses again. It was really, really risky there, but I mean, I really wasn't afraid of the Slowbro at this point. Liquidation, even if he had any left, wouldn't kill me after the S-toss, so unless he crit me, in which case, you know, that would suck, but I mean, I could still 1v1 this with a combination of Torn, and while probably I could 1v1 the Slowbro. Pretty much just Torn is what I'd need. So yeah, I'm gonna go for Psychic, and I'm gonna, yeah, catch him there. He's not gonna click Rest or anything, so yeah, he expected my taunt. I just kind of want to speed up the process a little bit, so he's going to die to the Psychic. I'm going to soft-boiled off because I don't expect his last move to do anything to me as he T-waves. And he finally gets a status on me on turn 83, but by then, 5/6 of his team is dead. I'm going to get full parried the first time, which is pretty funny, but I'm going to taunt him just to see what he has as he reveals his last move to be teleport. So yeah, the Slowbro cannot beat anything else on my team as he's going to struggle, and I'm going to kill him with the Psychic. So yeah, very long game. He brought Rest Registeel and fucking Mega Slowbro, so that made this a bit longer. I also brought a really fucking fat team, so I didn't really contribute much to that, but you know, that's the breaks. So yeah, thanks for watching. Going into playoffs on a 3-win high is definitely very nice. So yeah, thank you, appreciate you watching. This really, really long game. It's like 22-minute video. So yeah, I'll see y'all in the next one. Later.